And hello everyone. We finally got Limbo Prime Access to drop, and with that we got Limbo Prime, Pyrana Prime, and Stressor Prime. In this video we're going to look at and review Pyrana Prime and look at some builds. But first, before we look at the builds and the stats, let me just show you what this thing does first. We are going to unpause AI, and we are going to get these to be level 100 Corrupted Butchers, something that can swarm us. Just clear this. And let's see how this thing does with a swarm of level 100 enemies. Now what you are seeing here, those white trails, this is your second Ghost Pyrana Prime. This is a special ability of this weapon. Once you kill 3 enemies in a certain amount of time, you get a second Pyrana Prime to use as basically dual-wield weapons. Or I guess it would be Pyrana Prime if we're going to stay with their nomenclature. There it is. You just clean the room. Like, this gun wants an empty room. This gun wants only itself and whoever is wielding it, and maybe that Ghost Pyrana and nobody else. He just wants a clean room, that's it. So, what happened with the special power? Once you end up shooting 3 enemies with a certain allotted time, you will get a second Pyrana Prime, which also shoots exactly at the same time. Number-wise, all that means is that your fire rate doubles and your magazine doubles. However, having double fire rate just basically doubles all the damage output that you're doing, which is, well, absolutely fantastic. Now, this Pyrana, compared to regular non-prime Pyrana, it has 20% higher critical damage, has 20% higher status, 20% higher magazine, and 20% higher critical damage as well. It has 10% less damage overall, but it does not show at all, because as I said, once you get the second Pyrana out, you're doubling that, so you are theoretically at 180% damage at that point. Now let's go into the build. So for this build that we just used, obviously we have only for Corrosive to deal with heavily armored units, and we do have 3 Forma. Builds like this usually will take more Forma. You have to put Prime Pistol Gambit and Prime Target Cracker, Prime Barrel Diffusion, Prime Little Torrent. They're all kind of Hornet Strike. They all kind of take lots of capacity, and these are all regular ones. If you build AK Stilettos, I mean, you're going to be using these. Now, these are just the elemental mods, and this mod, Seeker, usually I wouldn't put this mod on anything, and most of the times people don't even use this mod, but in the case of Pyrana Prime, especially when you get your Ghost Pyrana, this will just throughput all the damage through the enemies, and all this massive damage is just going to keep on going through. Because once you get the second Pyrana, basically this is going to be 5,000 corrosive, about 3,500 slash, and just going to punch right through enemies. Plus, it's going to make it much easier to activate your second Ghost Pyrana, because you'll be able to kill like 3 enemies with 1 shot. So, we're going to use this build, and we're going to compare now how it scales. We'll get some Corrupted Bombards, level 50, we'll pause them, then we'll compare the damage that it does to Corrupted Bombards level 100 paused. Let's go straight into that. There it is. Still not used to this new UI. So we'll get 8 of them. Pause, and we'll start off with level 50. And let's simulate this. Okay, so usually when you have higher level enemies, you don't want to spray and pray, you want to actually aim and hit the head slowly. But in this case, we'll just let it go. Because this is an automatic shotgun, you can just hold down the button and it'll shoot. I mean, I didn't even see when some of them died, they just like turned to dust. Like, this gun does not want anyone around. Alright, let's compare this now to level 100 enemies just to see how well it scales. Okay, let's simulate those. You can see it takes more time. It takes about magazine and a half per unit. However, because of the Seeker mod, half of the work on the next unit behind is already done. It has also enough status to proc Slash and Corrosive often enough. There you go, the other one died, I didn't see it. So yeah, it has enough status to proc Corrosive and Slash often enough to metal. And of course, let's do now level 155, the highest possible enemies we can, just for sake of comparison. And I mean, as scaling, most of the guns have issue scaling, so does this one, it's not any different. However, we'll just show the difference in time it takes to take these ones down. Same thing. And I'm just holding the button, because it's automatic shotgun, it pretty much does all the work for you. And these are level 155 enemies, the kind of enemies you are not going to encounter anywhere unless you're doing some kind of a record long runs. Sorters go up only to 100, so unless you're doing some epic survival runs, you will not encounter these enemies. So, it takes a while. See, it has a bit of a trouble with scaling here, but that is just the build itself. I will go through a few things that you can do to scale up much higher. Aside from, having a fantastic ribbon. And there we go. You can take down level 155 enemies as well. Now, after this video, I actually tested this gun by doing a solo terrorist hunt, and I will show you the build that I use for that. And in the video you will see this gun can actually take down terrorists as well. But for right now, I just want to show you a couple variations. So this build is 3 Forma. However, if you're not a fan of Seeker mod, and not many people are, you can of course do Augur Pact. This is basically an Eidolon hunting setup, except you switch these elementals to radiation. Also, what you can do is you can use stunning speed. It's actually quite good on this. It increases your reload and adds some status. So let me just show you what happens. It's actually a noticeable increase on the reload. And since it's an automatic shotgun type, it'll automatically reload for you. So you can sustain very high fire rate for mobs coming towards you, or if you're fighting a heavy unit. Now, you can do a little bit of optimization with this as well, right? So if you go into your frame, this thing goes really well with a couple of arcanes. Now we have only Guardian, but let's put some of the other ones. So we have Arcane Awakening, 40% chance for plus 100 damage to pistols for 16 seconds. This goes really well with this gun. As well as Arcane. Yeah, 60% chance for 80% fire rate to pistols. And because this already has quite high fire rate, it does quite well. So let's see when we do this. We'll do back to level 100 enemies, just to show the difference. And you will see right in the top right when each one of the arcane procs. Okay, Arcane Velocity procced already. And Arcane Awakening proc. And now you see the increase in speed I mean, it's just ridiculous. And because we're currently using the reload mode, we're not using the secret as actually punch through. But if we actually put on a punch through, they will proc even more often because they will end up hitting more enemies. This, of course, won't matter for Eidolon. This will just matter for trash mobs and for fighting heavy units like this. See, they're both still going. So you can get both of these arcanes to continuously proc with this build. And as I said, we had stunning speed here, but if we do it with Seeker, it is going to be even faster. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to use that build with Vigilante armaments. We're going to make it into radiation, and we are going to go and take down Eidolon Terrorist. And I will already did that, and I'll post that video right after this. And here we go. As I was saying, it is a great sidearm to bring onto Eidolons. So all we did, we are currently just soloing the Eidolon with Rhino. And we're going to take Pyrana to one of the Synovias and see what happens. There we go. Not even 2 magazines, and one of the Synovia is down. And that is just changing up the type of damage from Corrosive from the last build that I showed into radiation damage. It's also great for clearing out all the Wombalists. And we'll do it one more time just to test it out. So there is no CP here. There was no armor stripping for the Eidolon. However, we are using Rhino buff because when you hunt Eidolon, you're always going to buff your weapons. Okay, he was defending himself there. There we go. Pyrana has no issues dealing damage to anyone, including the terrorist. Now we're going to also test out to see how it does with slightly further range, because we just cherry-picked the knee Synovias, which were just the closest to it. It's able to do the most damage possible. Let's see how it does with the ones that are further away. There we go. No issues with the arm Synovias, you just gotta stand a bit closer for the aim. But it does just fine. Oh, they are defending him. Let me get rid of the one ballist here first, and we'll go after that other scenario. And the only issue I'm having is getting a clear shot. There we go. And now also let's check what happens for the headshot. If we have enough time left in the night. I didn't actually check the time before we started the mission. Can't believe this lure is still surviving. One tough lure. Okay, my buff just expired. Let me rebuff here and get rid of these wombalists. I will continue with the headshots. Oh, he's getting defense again. Let's get rid of them. As I said before, you might want to bring some ammo. And don't forget to buff. Oh, drop me in the water. And there we go. Terrorist defeated using only Pyrana Prime. Now, of course, there are much better weapons to fight terrorists with. There are definitely more effective ones, including the secondary ones. But I just wanted to show that this damage, it's viable in-game, not only in Simulacrum. So if you're down and you have Pyrana Prime on you, you can still take out the Synovia, help out your team. And just to show, I have Rhino Prime, Pyrana Prime, Carrier Prime, and I still have Deadeye because I usually do this with the Lanka. So there is absolutely nothing that armor strips, nothing that can actually take away armor from the Eidolon. This was all done just by Pyrana Prime. Okay, now back to Cetus. And just quickly to show, this was a little change that we done for Eidolons. We just switched the elementals to give us radiation, and we replaced Seeker with Augur Pact, and that's it. And that would be all for Pyrana Prime review and testing some builds. If you like this video, click like on the bottom. If you love this video, click subscribe. And I will see you back on the stream at twitch.tv/newsback. Thank you all, and I will see you soon.